Good afternoon, everybody, and it is the afternoon. It's Matchday 3 in Manchester City's Champions League group, and it's our first ever meeting with Club Brugge. Now, Pep has made 4 changes to the side that beat Burnley on Saturday, and the man you can see there, Riyad Mahrez, does start in tonight's game. He was giving the ground a bit of a test there a second ago, wanting to know what it's going to be like when he starts in around about an hour and 15 minutes. The other changes are Ederson back in goal. We also have a start there for Ruben Diaz, who's back in the team, and he is captain again this evening, or this afternoon as it still is as well. So we'll have the full team news for you, or you can see the team on your screen there, and you'll see that Jack Grealish starts again as well. And it's looking like a beautiful evening there in Bruges. There'll be thousands of very lucky Manchester City fans having a lovely time in Bruges just now, I am sure. But not as lovely as we are here in the studio, as I am joined by 2 defenders. Oh, I'd love to have seen these 2 in the Champions League. It's Andy Morrison and Richard Dunne. So, Andy, the team news is out. We've had a look at it. Everybody can see it now at home as well. 4 changes from the team that beat Burnley at the weekend. What's your kind of initial impression there of the starting 11?
I think it's really strong. Listen, we say whatever starting 11, it's always balanced, and there's always strength and depth throughout the squad. But I like it. We're taking it very seriously, and it'll be strong enough team to certainly ask questions of Bruges.
I think when I'm looking at that starting 11, Richard, I think that is arguably our best, if not one of our best 11s. Obviously, it's difficult to say when you have so many world-class players. Are you happy with that starting 11 for tonight?
Yeah, I think in the Champions League so far, City have obviously had a big win against Leipzig, but conceded goals. They've lost to PSG, so tonight's a must-win game for them. They need to go out and put in a performance against a good Bruges side who have had two decent results. And when you look at City's starting 11, it's certainly a team that's going to go and attack and go and fight for the 3 points.
Now, of course, with having you both here, we've got to have a start by talking about the defence. Ederson is back in goal, although in the Burnley game, I thought Zach Stefan played really well. He was great, but of course, Ederson as our number 1 comes back into the team tonight, Andy. Yeah,
that's the stability, and I think the back 4 speaks for itself. And a key, what Richard's just said there, and we did concede a lot of opportunities against Leipzig, although we got the result. And and I felt on Saturday as well, although it was a 2-0 and a clean sheet, there were still opportunities for the opposition, and we've got to get that right first and foremost. We leave tonight with a clean sheet, we win the game, but we can't concede 1 and then need to score 2. So yeah, that's as strong as we can be at the back, I feel.
And Bruges, especially saying that as well, Andy, Bruges have an incredible scoring record at the minute, Richard. They've scored in all of their games in the league, all of their games so far in the Champions League. They really are a very attacking team, so we really do have to be on it in defence tonight.
Definitely, yeah. And I think you'd look at a side like Bruges, and when the draw is made, you think, well, that's 3 points or 6 points or whatever it may be. But they've surprised everyone. They're riding high just on confidence almost. They're top of their own league. They've 2 great results so far in Europe, and they'll be difficult, but you can't underestimate them. So it's so important that the manager picks a side which is capable of, first of all, stopping them from scoring, but also giving us the opportunity to score. And it's they've got a couple of Belgian internationals in their side as well, so they're going to be they're not going to be an easy game where when you look at them on paper you think, I don't know too many of them, but when they're out in the field they're a decent side.
If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask our guests, you're, of course, very welcome to do that on our new WhatsApp number. On Saturday, we had absolutely loads of questions. I promise you I will try and get as many of them to the gents as possible, but your best bet is to get your questions in nice and early, so you can use that number on WhatsApp to ask anything that you would like of the gents in the studio today. Andy, in terms of the team there as well, we're seeing Rodri starting again, which in the Champions League especially, I am so happy about. He's having a fantastic season so far.
Yeah, he certainly is. I thought he was exceptional again at the weekend, following on his form from the season so far. There's so much work that he does that doesn't get noticed, and I think when you play the game and manage the game, you understand what the detail is in what he actually does. And, obviously, key moments in defensive positions with Diaz making a great tackle stands out, and then strikers get there. they're they get the credit for the goals they score, and it goes unnoticed. And the amount of play that he actually breaks down, the passages of play that he stops into our final third, he's the link between the units that starts everything. And it was so evident on Saturday where there was moments, and there was a full house here, and there was no reaction to, and I'm seeing danger. And he's just, he's nullifying it very, very, in a quiet way that he goes about his business. And he's absolutely key. And, my favourite player of the last 10 years in Ferrandinho, you've got the master who's teaching him, and you've seen him improve over the years. And I think that, again, is testament to the manager. We rarely see a player come in who doesn't improve. And doesn't 18 months, 2 years down the line, you're saying, look at the player we've got now. Again, I think that's testament to the manager.
Yes, absolutely. And if only Ferran Torres wasn't injured, we could probably talk about him in this starting 11 well, because he's a perfect example of the way that Pep improves players. Cancelo,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Cancelo, another one that's having an absolutely phenomenal season, Richard. I feel like Cancelo, though, sometimes, in my opinion, most of the fans love him. I am one of those, absolutely love him. Often, though, when you hear pundits talking about, and particularly pundits that are, defensive experts talking about him, he's not as loved. How do you feel about Cancelo?
I'm on the love side. I think he's brilliant. I think in this style of football, in this Man City team, he's perfect. The way he plays football it's beautiful to watch, and I've heard someone describe him as a number 10 playing at right back or left back, because the quality of his pass and his assists are outstanding. And I don't think in modern day football, certainly at the elite level, at this level, Champions League level, you can be classed as a great if you just sit back and defend and be an old school right back. I think there has to be a little bit of everything, and this side has players like him in it to add variety, to take the pressure off the attack and the wingers, the attacking midfielders, because the threat then comes from everywhere. And to me, he's outstanding. Like Andy says, he wasn't outstanding at the start when he arrived. It takes time to find out what Pep really wants from the players. I think we've seen it with Mahrez improve over time as well, and it's probably a stage where Jack Grealish is going through at the moment. He's come in, he's trying to understand the formation, trying to understand what's the real requirements of the role, and you'll see him over the course of this season and into the rest of his contract just developing all the way through.
I love him. Do you like him left back or right back, Andy? Or both, or either, or midfield, or striker?
I like it when he's further up the pitch, because it means we're in possession of the ball. At them final moments, and again, there's always room for improvement. There are times in the one-on-one situations where he pops out a little bit early, and his timing's not quite right. So, his enthusiasm is to get there, which normally comes from somebody who's not an out-and-out defensively minded player. But the quality he brings, as Dunne just said, as a 10, the body swerves, the drop of the shoulder, step overs that he does in the final moment to create something. When you've got the players that we have, Mahrez, that can do that, but you're also getting that from your fullbacks who are coming up the pitch later on. And many times he steps into midfield and creates a two-man screen, which is a part of Manchester City's identity over the last few years. And now you see a lot of other teams copy that. When you're in good possession further up the pitch, you go to a 3 almost and block off the passages from there. And he's a breath of fresh air. And I watched him and Bernardo Silva warming up together at the weekend, and it was like the Harlem Globetrotters. I can't tell you the quality and the things they were doing, taking balls out of there, keeping them up, and then pinging 30-yard balls to each other like two kids on a park. It was brilliant, and you could see the relationship there between the two of them over the years, and it's great to see.
I love seeing that. I love it when they all genuinely look like they're really having fun and enjoying each other's company as well. And João Cancelo, for anybody that's a fantasy football player, which I am, João Cancelo is the one you need to get in your team at the minute. We're going to speak about him in depth later as well, but he's the one that you need to get in your fantasy. Do you play fantasy football, Richard? Andy? No, wrong audience here. So I've got no one to talk to you about fantasy football. But if you like it, if you're in our league as well, if you're in the Manchester City League, I'm up to 170-something thousand, by the way. I was 600 and something. So yes, João Cancelo is the one that you need in your team. Now, in terms of defenders as well, let's have a little chat about our defensive record in the Champions League. Obviously, in the Premier League, we're unbelievably solid. 8 games, just 3 goals conceded. Chelsea have also just conceded 3 as well. Our defensive record in the Premier League is unbelievable. In the Champions League, though, obviously it's a little bit different, Richard. Here, now, I don't think we can have any complaints about this. This is Lionel Messi scoring a world-class goal against us in our last game in the Champions League. Of course, we lost that game 2-0 in Paris. Would you have stopped that, Richard?
That needs to be stopped way before he gets the ball. I think someone else needs to take care of that in midfield. It's very difficult because you look at the goals conceded in the Champions League. You're playing against the best teams from their respective countries, so they're top quality players. They're all internationals who can cause trouble. The Premier League is it's made its mind up on Man City, and it's a place that you come back and you defend and you sit down, and nobody really gets at Man City. I think when you have such an attacking mindset that you will have weaknesses defensively, and the teams in Europe can probably identify it and have a higher quality of player to go and take advantage of it.
Yeah, so we conceded obviously 2 in that game against Paris, 3 in the game against Leipzig, so conceded more in those 2 games that we have in the Premier League this season. Andy, do you agree with Richard there? Have you got any worries about our defence in the Champions League, or just,
I always worry.
Yeah.
I always worry. I'm a defender, and you're always expecting mistakes to be made or the turnover, and then it's a communication. Diaz plays a huge part in that. While everybody else is moving the ball around, it's easy to actually get occupied with the ball, rather than looking at the dangers around you. And I think Fernandinho has been magnificent at that over the years, of seeing the danger and maybe pulling somebody in a bit more narrow to stop the initial counter-attack, because that's where we get hurt, is on the counter-attack. And as Rich has already just said, the quality of the players, the higher you go, they will make the right pass. The way to the pass will be right, the movement will be right, and ultimately the shot will be right, and you get punished. It's always about the turnover and making sure that we don't overexpose ourselves, and then, exposing yourself at the right time to create the overloads that create opportunities for City. But again, it's the timing and making sure that early on it's not one pass that means that they're running at our back 3 or back 4. And again, that's communication is huge.
I know as a defender that you'll both be in agreement about that, but for the Leipzig game, obviously with the 6-3 game, I loved it, Richard. I know we conceded conceded 3 goals, but I just loved the game. It was so entertaining.
Yeah, I'm obviously used to play defender and all that stuff and keep an eye on it and how it works. But when I watch the modern game football, it's about going and winning matches. And you see like coaches like Mourinho who have sort of fallen away because all he wants to do is defend. Fans want to see teams going to play to win matches, and that's the way Man City play. And it's a joy to watch. And with that comes, you are going to concede goals, but you're going to win the majority of games because you set yourself up in such a way that you're firstly entertaining the fans, secondly you're scoring loads of goals, you're entertaining yourself. And I think when Pep sits down, he doesn't want to watch a boring match, he wants to watch an exciting game, so that's what he sets it up, and it's brilliant. And I mean, to concede 3 against Leipzig and to concede 2 in Paris it's disappointing, but they're the consequences of having such an attacking side.
Yeah, and in that Leipzig game as well, which I did found hugely, hugely entertaining, of course, Jack Grealish scored his first goal in the Champions League. And we know that that's one of the main reasons why he came here, for Pep and to play Champions League football. And, we can see him there as well, getting more Champions League minutes under his belt as he does start in our game tonight. So we've had a lovely question come in on our WhatsApp. Thank you for sending all your questions in. And it's come from Ben Grossness, and he's asked for both of you, what impact you think Grealish can bring from the striker position, Andy, and what are the chances that we might see Cole Palmer getting some minutes tonight? He's a great prospect, and Ben loves watching him play. So if we start with Grealish there, what impact do you think he can make from the striker position?
Do we know he's in the striker position?
We never know.
Right, okay, so we're surmising that he might be the middle. He has the ability to attract more than one player to you. If you leave him one-on-one, he'll hurt you. So obviously, sometimes it's put that he maybe slows play up. But if you're slowing play up and you're attracting a couple of players towards you, City move the ball so well, they'll expose the opposition somewhere else. Does he get enough shots off? Maybe not. But, the ability for me to pick the pass at the right time, and the weight of the pass, and then when we've seen when he gets in that final moment, he does hit the target, which is the key. And we're going back to the 6-3, the Leipzig. We're not always going to score 6, and it's every single game we seem to get maybe 5 or 6 chances in the first half, and we have to take 3. of the way we play. And because as the game drifts on, on Saturday, the importance of that second goal puts the game to bed, because they won't overrun us from that point. But while it's 1-0, and again, the way the team play, the way the team sets up, they create chances. The key is taking them. And, the manager and the way he does things takes you to that final moment. Then the players must execute it, because when we're firing and we go 2 or 3 up, we go on and win them. But my worry is always the defensive side of things. The young lad, Cole Palmer, come on again at the weekend. And I've only seen glimpses of him, but there's obviously incredible quality there for such a young lad. His balance is magnificent. He moves the ball really, really well. He's obviously, to train as he has in the last couple of years, you have to be a special talent. And then to maintain, because I think the manager alluded to it this week, we have so many good players in our squad. For a youngster to come through, he has to be special, because for him to be in there means that somebody's recognised, maybe not be involved on a match day. And, he's definitely got talent.
Cole Palmer, I mean, the story from the weekend absolutely took the headlines, and very much deserved to as well. So Cole Palmer, as you will be aware, came on in the Burnley game as a substitution towards the end of the game. And then later on that evening, played for the EDS and scored a hat-trick.
Now Palmer decides to have a go, and there's the hat-trick. Onto the field to face Leicester. They could extend their lead at the top of the table, as second place Arsenal lost earlier today. Well, he's got a very strong left foot, but he certainly had the confidence in his right to work it from left to right boot. And then he just bent his shot wide of the angle of post and bar. Came on, and then very shortly after, the whistle blew for full time. And here is Palmer on the ball, and he's tucked it into the net off the inside of the post. Well, there was me talking about what a unique day he's had. Part of the first team set up for the entire day. He then crosses the bridge between the Etihad Stadium and the CFA, joins the fellow members of the EDS team, and then tucks the ball into the net for the opening goal. Cross isn't a bad one either. It's cleared as far as Cole Palmer, and now City do have a much more comprehensive lead, and it's a second goal for Cole Palmer. I mentioned earlier what an extraordinary day he'd had, but it's just getting better and better for Cole Palmer. It seemed only a matter of time before they took the lead, and I guess it was no surprise in the circumstances that it was Cole Palmer, and City stay unbeaten, proudly top of Premier League 2.
Cole Palmer, he played for you on Saturday, came off the bench, and then went to play for the under-23s. What does that say to you about his kind of personality, and what kind of future do you think he will have?
Step by step, but he's already 2 seasons to train with us. He's completely involved in the dynamic of the group, the way we want to play. And he extended a contract for the club for the next years because we believe a lot in him. And we know his attributes, and I know what he can do. And I know it's not easy to play for the amount of players that we have, but we have amount of games. And sooner or later he's getting, because I have all the potential to play. But for the young lads, is training with us, play the minutes that we deserve to play, then go to the second team and do what he has done. So when there, score 3 goals, help the team to win, improve his developments with the ball, without the ball, and try to help and understand the game. And every game is different. One can play in a 5 position up front, can play the wingers, can play as attacking midfielder, even a striker. There's a guy who has a sense of goal. So when he's clinical there, there's a guy who has a big talent for that. And yeah, happy to have him, and is growing. the guy is growing since the 2 seasons with us. Every training session is growing.
Yes, Cole Palmer uses a Premier League game against Burnley as a warm-up to go and score a hat-trick for the EDS. And I have so many questions for Cole Palmer. I desperately hope the City TV are sitting down with him soon. I want to know, is it the same kit? Did he change his kit? Did he walk across? Did he walk across the bridge, or did he get a lift around? Did he have his tea? Like, I've got so many questions for Cole Palmer and what happened between 5 o'clock and 7:30. But it is an absolutely brilliant story there. Did either of you, have you ever heard before, or did it ever happen in your experience where anybody you ever played with, young, in any sort of level, played in 2 different squads in the same day?
No, I remember when I was younger at Everton, I played in the first team and played in the reserves, but the next day, which is as close as I think would be considered almost normal. But what he's done at the weekend's incredible. I think when you're asked, when you play in a first team game and you're asked to go and play in an EDS or a development game, it's a sign of, it used to be a punishment. And people would go, oh, I don't want to do it. But for Cole, it's obviously, it's another step in his development. And when you look at it and you think, oh, how do you react to that, to playing in front of 50,000 people, to then have to walk over to the stadium where it's empty, and how do you get yourself up and how do you do it? To then go and score a hat-trick just shows what sort of character he is and what sort of future he's going to have, because that's a real mental test to be able to do it, and it's fantastic that he's done it.
It must have been incredible for his teammates as well, Andy, to see, he's just been with the first team all day. He's played, he's come on, and then he's gone back over into the changing rooms with his teammates. That must have been incredible for them as well, to see him, and he's, a real life example of, it can be done, it can happen.
Exactly, the example's there. And also, like, the enthusiasm of a young man of that age. I want to play football. I don't want to just have a 10-minute cameo against Burnley, go home and then start going on Monday. I want to go across there because I love playing football and I'm very, very good and I'm going to score a hat-trick. And young men who love the game want to play football. They want to train. They want to be on there. We're always talking about overload and games. Like when we were young, just play football. It doesn't matter when. I want to get onto that football pitch, and that's what he would have been. You go home on a Saturday night and he gets in at 9, 10 o'clock and he's had a bath and all that and he scored a hat-trick. You'll feel great. There'll have been too much energy left in his body if he'd only done 10 minutes. It would have been a long weekend for him. So, yeah, testament again to the club thinking. I'd imagine the opportunity would have been offered to him and then he'll grab that. But the club thinking as well, like, keep your feet on the ground and get across there and show how good you are.
Yes, and to me, it really feels like he's getting that kind of similar treatment that Phil Foden got. Similar story to Phil Foden. Comes through the academy. He's a greater Manchester lad. He's from Wythenshawe, Cole Palmer. He's a born and bred Blue as well, which we love. How much have you seen of him for the EDS, Richard, and how good do you think he could be?
For the EDS, I've not seen a lot. I've seen him in pre-season in a couple of the games, and I thought he was outstanding. The way that he just took to, I suppose, more than the match itself, to the actual tactical game plan which Pep sets out for the team. It's not simple to understand, and for a young lad coming through, it takes time. It takes time to perfect it and everything. But you could see in the pre-season games that he was the sort of player that they played through. He was the one that linked both sides of the defence and the attack together. And when young players come in, you can see it and you go, oh, he's had a good 10 minutes, but then he's drifted away or whatever like that. But for him, he was outstanding. He was like head and shoulders above some really, really top internationals on the pitch. And I think as well, like Andy says, that enthusiasm, once you keep that, you've got a great chance. He's obviously got the ability and he's got the right learning platform. Pep's amazing with them. The club have been fantastic in terms of how they've developed him to this stage. And he's one of those, he's very similar to Phil Foden in terms of there's certain players that you enjoy watching, and he's one of them. He excites you, and he's good to see.
And of course, we absolutely love it as fans when a player is Manchester born and bred and is a supporter of the club and comes through the academy. So if you're not already watching, Cole Palmer is one to watch. And of course, as we mentioned, he came off the bench for the game on Saturday against Burnley. And Burnley 2-0, 3 points, a really important win. To me, it felt like one of those games where if, whatever happens towards the end of the season, we're going to look back on this result and know that it was one that it was a champion's performance. It was one where perhaps perhaps we didn't play as well as we usually do, but we ground out the result, and some of our nearest rivals perhaps can't say that. Richard, Kevin De Bruyne back on the score sheet as well. There's Bernardo's goal as well. I know you're a big fan of him. What did you make of the overall performance? Do you kind of get what I'm saying in terms of, we ground out the result, and that is so important when you are going to win leagues?
Definitely, and it's after the international break, it's difficult for teams to come back and to be firing on all cylinders, because players have been obviously away for 10 days. They've not got the same rhythm as you normally would in a normal training week, and they've travelled from far places, so it's tough, and it's weird. It's like when you've been away on holiday and you come back and you're trying to get back in proper contact with your mates and make it all work again, and it takes that first little bit of time. It just takes a bit of time to make it smooth again, and that's what that first game's like. But it's important that they win, because the league is tough this year. There's some very good sides, very, very tight at the top of the league, and when you're not performing, it's important that you win games, and this is a fantastic victory. And like you say, it's one of those where you look back, nobody's going to remember it too much, but you go, it's an important win, that. So.
Yeah. Absolutely important as well, because Kevin De Bruyne got back on the score sheet. We love him. What did you make of Kevin's performance on Saturday, Andy, and the goal?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't an outstanding performance from the team. I thought Burnley were very, very good, and this was a key moment in the game, and it was a ricochet. And sometimes you need a little element of luck, and it just fell into his path when he was moving, and it's a terrific finish. But I think. I think De Bruyne, I think his standards, I think that of the team, I think we were below it on Saturday. And Richard just said it's a fantastic result, because it was as good a Burnley performance. Tactically, their press was fantastic, which may have been down to the fact that they only had a couple away. So they've had a good period of 10 days to really do the detail that's needed against City. And I thought they were very, very good. And it was a magnificent win, because they had 2 or 3 really good chances, Burnley, and were causing us a problem with the press. We weren't able to play through it like we normally do, and when it broke down, they had a few really good chances. That was the end of the game when the second ball went, but we needed it. And when he's at the top of his game, and them key moments, that moment there, because I'd say there were 6 or 7 incidents in the game where we didn't even hit the target with shots. We got in some really good areas. The keeper didn't have to make a save, and funny enough, none of them really fell to De Bruyne. And that one moment was quality. Put the game to bed. Job done. Move on.
Yes, absolutely, Andrew. I heard you were on co-coms on Saturday and were very good as well. Very excellent co-coms, I was told, and very high praise for Rodri as well, which, of course, we've already talked about. We love Rodri. So Kevin De Bruyne scored in that game against Burnley. And Kevin De Bruyne, of course, one of the 30 nominees for the Ballon d'Or. And he spoke to us this week to give us his opinion on who the best player in the world is.
I just wonder, the Ballon d'Or shortlist has created a fair bit of discussion this week. Of course, you are on it. But I just wondered, who do you think the best player in the world is at the moment?
I think if I have to choose myself personally, I'm going to look at a 2-year period, because obviously we didn't have anyone. And I would choose for Lewandowski for what he has done in the last 2 years, goal scoring wise, but obviously they won a lot with Bayern. So I think he would be my pick.
So that was Kevin De Bruyne's opinion on who currently the best player in the world is, and he went for Lewandowski. So it's currently at a 30-man shortlist. The winner will be announced on the 29th of November, and we, of course, have 5 nominees in there. I'm sure you all know that already, but the 5 of them are Phil Foden, Riyad Mahrez, Ruben Diaz, Raheem Sterling, and that man, Kevin De Bruyne. So, Andy, straight to you. Oh, and yes, I should say as well, that is the man's Ballon d'Or as well. Obviously, the women's Ballon d'Or, the nominees are also out for that, and we're very proud that Ellen White is nominated for the women's Ballon d'Or as well. In terms of the men's, though, Andy, Kevin De Bruyne is saying Lewandowski. Do you have a sort of standout performer you think currently for the Ballon d'Or?
I think you can't look too far past Lewandowski. His performances over a decade have been phenomenal. He's goal scoring, and it would be nice to be recognised, another player who's performed like he has and scored the goals he has, and that to get the acknowledgement it deserves. Diaz is mentioned in there, but I can't remember. You probably better than me, Richard. The last defender, the Italian that got the Ballon d'Or. It's very rarely. It's a token because it's always a striker, a goal scorer. Ronaldo, Messi over the years, but Lewandowski, it'd be hard to look far past him. And Kevin De Bruyne, he's rightly in there because for a long period of time now, and not just us, we always wax lyrical about our own players at this football club, but every other club, every other fan, when you speak to them, would love to have De Bruyne. Would love to have De Bruyne. He's the one person that they always mention. So, yeah, it's great that they're in there, and the rest of the players getting the acknowledgement that they deserve for a fantastic season last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only a short time, I feel, until one of our players gets their hands on it. Or indeed, do you think that might be this year? Or who have you got your eye on, Richard?
I don't see a Man City player winning it this year, but definitely in the future there'll be lots of candidates from this club. I think the Ballon d'Or has become a statistical award almost, and it always goes to centre forwards, and it's how many goals and how many games they've scored. And obviously Lewandowski is up there. For me, I love Messi. I love watching him play football, and I think having won the Copa America, scored and assisted over 50 goals in a average Barcelona side and stuff. I think it'd be nice for him just to win it one last time now, but it'd be great, like Andy says, to see a defender, to see someone like Ruben Diaz, who's been outstanding, who's brought this club forward again and is on the list, rightly so. It'd be great to see him maybe have a chance of winning it in the future.
Like that. So one last time before the City lads come in and start grabbing it. Who do you think who would you guess would be the first City player that would be able to win the Ballon d'Or?
I stuck my neck out a couple of seasons ago and said, if a player was ever going to, at City was going to get it would be Phil Foden. And again, with such a young age to actually be in that bracket. And, again, it is the statistics. And if the goals are there, once Phil starts scoring, the 15 to 25 in that bracket, he'll get more acknowledgement. But for me, yeah, I do think he's that special a talent that, maybe further down the line. At this moment in time, in the next year or two, it would have to be De Bruyne.
Oh, I'd love it to be Phil Foden. Phil Foden to bring the Ballon d'Or trophy back to Stockport. That'd be an absolute dream. Now, our favourite new game on this show. Now, last season, of course, we were doing the mystery player where we had the muddled up picture. This year, we are doing Cryptic City. Oh, tense music there, gents. Have you both played Cryptic City yet?
Nope.
So it's our new game. You'll be able to see it here. So this is the name of a City player. It is past or present. They have played for City. What you need to do is say what you see, look at the pictures, put them together and work out who it is. Now, I love this game so much that I specifically ask our producers not to tell me or show me before the show. Now, if you're sat at home now and you suddenly worked it out, or you want to give us a hand, you can tweet in your guesses using the hashtag #ManCity. So, gents, J. So that's Jay-Z. So is that J? Are we going for a J? And then that's Rod Stewart. So when Jay-Z and Rod Stewart together, what do we think for the third picture? Any suggestions, Richard?
Looks like Mr. Muscle or something, doesn't it?
Mr. Muscle.
I don't have a clue. Completely. Can we not go back to that one where we got the...
You're all getting it too often. It was too easy. Well, we'll give you some time to think about it. We'll give you some time to think about it at home as well. And it is, Cryptic City. Sending your answers there. It's hashtag #ManCity. So, Bernardo Silva, the man of the moment, player of the month in September. He's having an absolute worldie of a season, perhaps his best yet for City. We spoke to him earlier in the week, and this is what he had to say.
He's a very athletic player. He's a player that I know for a long time. I started playing with him when we were both 12 years old, because we played together at Benfica for like 7 or 8 years, which is a long time. Then we met here. So yeah, we have a good relationship. We have a good chemistry between each other. He's someone that, as I said, is very quick, very athletic, very technical as well, and he has a good balance of how to defend and how to attack. And he's in a very good form right now. Hopefully, he can keep doing well. And yeah, I'm very happy for him.
Yeah, so Bernardo Silva, we love him. And that was him talking about João Cancelo. And I only learned after that interview that he's known João Cancelo since they were both 12 years old and they were playing in the Benfica academy together. And now it all makes sense, Andy, after, you were saying how you saw them warming up together and how much fun they were having. So him and João Cancelo having an perhaps unlikely, but a partnership that I'm absolutely loving. How important is that partnership between the two of them in the success of our team?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be that bond there, that trust, that relationship with each other. And that plays a huge part in football. When you have a period of success, you build those relationships. But coming from such a young age, they'll trust each other and they'll know what their qualities are. And there'll be a real bond there between them.
I just can't believe it was I didn't know that they'd played together since they were 12. Was there anybody in your career that you'd sort of started with as a child and played up with, Richard?
Within the Irish setup, like the Robbie Keane and Damien Duff, Robbie Keane definitely we would have played against each other since we were 10, and then within the international teams all the way through. So it's nice. It's like it's comforting to go and to be able to see your friends, to be from the same area, to grow up and to be able to play football with your mates is an amazing experience, and that understanding, and obviously for them to coming through with the same philosophy, the same development program, both knowing each other's game inside out and knowing what way he likes the ball delivered, what way he likes to turn, all that sort of stuff. It helps definitely on a Saturday.
In terms of partnerships, though, in your career, obviously we know how successful you and Sylvain Distin was. Was there somebody else that you played with? I'm thinking maybe a little less obvious, somebody in midfield that you always liked to get the ball out to, or a striker that you could always trust if you were, defending corners. Was there anybody in your career that you had an unlikely partnership with?
I think you as a centre half, you find a strong partnership with your goalkeeper a lot of the time. I think I played alongside Shay Given for a long time again with Ireland and here as well, and it's having that comfort of knowing Shay behind you, someone who you can trust and someone who you believe in, and if he's suspended or he's injured or he's missing for 1 week, the jitters come a little bit, and it's just a little bit different than what the norm is, and it can put a player off, to be honest. And it's just, again, it's having that comfort blanket of the people around you who you know and who you trust.
Was there anybody in your career, Andy, that you had an unlikely partnership with?
I think the game's moved on so much. When I played, the way the football is now, you're beginning the process of a build-up play as soon as a defender receives the ball. For me, it was always you went to your 9, you went back to your goalkeeper who cleared his lines, or you found your best player. And I was fortunate at City to play with Ian Bishop, and I would always look to go to the 9 initially, or I would hit a diagonal ball to a wide man, or just give it to Bish, and that was job done. And he always made himself available, and he was so comfy in possession of the ball. And when he didn't play, I noticed a difference, because I think as a centre half in them key moments, once you haven't originally seen the opportunity to move the ball, once you start looking, you're already in trouble. And when I was very lucky to play with Ian Bishop. He was an incredibly talented footballer.
Love that. Give it to Bish. Yeah. Oh, yes. I love him. I hope that he comes, into the country one day soon and we can get him on this show, because what a fabulous player. So in terms of, I'd like to ask both of the gentlemen now. We've got a brilliant question that's come through the WhatsApp. Thank you so much for all your questions. Do keep sending them in, because if we don't have time before the game, we do have half time and full time as well. So Carlo has asked you both. Oh, and he says big greetings from Split in Croatia. Oh, I'd love to be in Split in Croatia just now, Carlo. I wanted to ask our legendary centre-back duo, can Diaz be our next Vinny, our captain, our leader from the back for 10 years or maybe even more?
Yeah, and I'd imagine the club would want that as well. The way he's come and settled in and taking that leadership role has been brilliant. His performances are outstanding every week, and he seems to me at a very young age that he has those leadership qualities to... It's difficult as well, because when you come in, you're that young, to be able to carry a club the size of this and be the leader of it is a big ask. And I didn't doubt, I wondered whether his performances would suffer this season after a great 4th season, but he hasn't. He's been excellent. He's continued that steady performance, and he looks as rock solid as ever. And to me, he is the leader. He is the captain for the next 10 years, or however long he wants.
Andy, do you agree?
Yeah, I've got to agree. I've been so impressed from day one. And, you know, Phil Foden and players like that, they're a generational player. He is a generational centre-half and leader. He's unique. He's vociferous. And, you know, listen, you don't always have to have the armband, but ultimately it normally sort of like navigates its way to a player who talks and leads. And a captain, again, a captain's a title, but the players, they follow courage and they follow leadership. And he has all those attributes. And I've been so impressed with him. I'd love to play with him. And again, Dunne's a great point from Dunne this season where you normally get, if you have a fantastic start, then it's inevitable it'll drop off a touch. It hasn't. His performances, his intensity, his eyes. I love his eyes, you know, in the sense that his focus, and you see it in the moments. He's never out of the moment on the pitch. He doesn't drift off. Every single moment he's animated. He's talking, he's communicating. When he's actually squeezing the line, he comes outside on, and the rest of the players, he's bossing the players to come out. And yeah, let's hope the next 10 years, you know, because like I said, when you find somebody as special as him, you know, you must look after them.
I'd have loved to have seen you play with him as well. Do you think out of all the defenders that we've got at the club, would he have been the one that you'd like to have played with the most?
I think he's probably as close to me as I can out of the whole group. You know, he's. I think, yeah, he's a winner. He's a winner, and he wants to go and head the ball. He wants to go and tackle. And yes, you know, we look at the stats and his passing and Laporte. I think more so Cancelo this year. They're top of the tree in their passing. But first and foremost, don't forget you're a centre half and a defender. Stop that ball when it comes into a box. Head it out of the box. Make tackles. Block. Communicate. Be a leader, and you know, when the rest of it falls on from there. And sometimes in modern football, you know, they want to play. Now, Diaz wants to go and defend. He wants to go and impress himself on it. He wants to challenge. Like, you know, we spoke about this last year at length when the top players are coming up against him. Diaz, I can imagine, up at night the night before thinking about I'm playing against the Chelsea, Lukaku. Yeah, I can see him thinking about that next day and being infatuated with it. I'm going to dominate him. I'm going to get the better of him. If he comes up against Lewandowski, I'm going to dominate him. You know, he's passionate about his football.
Yes, I love that, Andy. Is that something you used to do? Sort of fully get into the mindset before who you were playing and just think, I'm going to have you.
I just think when a top player's coming to town, you don't want him to be leaving the Etihad. You don't want him to be leaving people talking about him. You want to be talking about me, that I've dominated him, you know. And I don't think you can ever move away from that too far. Yes, the old-fashioned 5 against a 9 has changed over the years, but you still want to, first and foremost, you dominate your man in your area of the pitch, and you have 7 or 8 players on the pitch that are doing that. Inevitably, you're going to win more games than you lose. And, you know, if it comes down to a 1v1 situation against any striker in the league, Ruben Diaz is the man you want to be there taking that challenge on.
Oh, it really is as well. And as a fan, I feel really safe when Ruben Diaz is playing and getting in those situations as well. So Ruben Diaz to Andy, to me, to Richard as well, the ultimate defender. But we spoke to Ruben Diaz this week to find out who or how he would make up his ultimate footballer.
This is what clothes? Yeah. Definitely not Zina. I have no idea. I've got many guys for many jobs. Oh, wait. Let me see what I can put. Hello, I'm Ruben Diaz, and I will be creating the ultimate Man City footballer. Easy one. Why Fernandinho?
John Stones the scorer, Fernandinho!
I think leadership is just the right word. He's our captain. That's one of the main reasons between others, but I think that one would be the number one. Right foot. Who's going to be my right foot? Okay, I'm going to choose right foot on Cancelo.
Strikers on here from Cancelo! From João Cancelo range. A rocket from the Portuguese.
And left foot on Phil Foden. On the left foot.
That one back towards the penalty spot as that one is struck towards goal. And then some from Phil Foden.
I think you can tell very easy why the right foot and the left foot are there. Two very creative players who can do almost everything they want with the ball. And yes, I think they're the right guys for the job. Tattoos. Who has tattoos? Raz has them. Ederson. Oh, yeah, easy. Yeah, it needs to be Eddie. This one is clear to see. Okay, let's do a split up here between these two. Kyle and Raz. I'll go Kyle with strength and Raz with speed. And these are pretty straightforward.
Walker had to time that one perfectly. Look at that.
The 1 million eyes. Oh, tough one. I think I would choose Gundo because he always knows whoever is behind him, so it looks like he has an eye everywhere. But I also have Kevin, who has another kind of vision for passes that are not there.
Looks for that, it's headed in, it's Ilkay Gundogan. Tipped over to the left-hand side, Kevin De Bruyne tries to lay this one off, goal!
So can I use both? Come on this one you need to let me. On this one you need to let me. Kevin and Gundo. I'll go brains with Bernardo. Even though he doesn't seem, he's a pretty smart guy. Sense of humor, it's difficult. Between Alex and Scott, it's very difficult. I'll go for Alex to compensate for what I said before. Dress sense. I've wasted many. Okay, let's do this. Gundo, this one is for you. I love his style. Courage and stamina. Let's do this. I'll go for the courage. And this guy will go for the stamina. Never-ending energy.
It takes it, Ruben tries to turn it in. Gabriel Jesus does! He needs just minutes.
Yeah, I think it's for sure a Ballon d'Or winner. Yeah, for sure. So guys, this is my ultimate footballer. Please let me know what you think.
Yeah, do let us know what you think. You can use the hashtag Man City. And I tell you, I would definitely put Ruben Diaz next to a heart every day of the week. That was his ultimate footballer. Now, we've got loads of questions that are coming through for you both on the WhatsApp. Thank you so much for all the questions that you've been sending in. Do feel free to keep getting them in there. Ask us, anything about the game, about the past, about anything you'd like to know about the gents. So there's loads coming through. So we'll try and rattle some right now so we can get down the list a bit, Andy. So the first one from Dylan. Favourite moment in a City shirt?
99 playoff final.
Of course, I could have answered that for you, Richard.
I don't know. I think probably beating United at Main Road in the last derby was a good one.
I love that. Is that the Sean Goater nicks the ball off? Yes, I love that one. Okay, Hadley asks you, Richard, do you wish you were at City later on in your career as you would have had trophies like the FA Cup and the Premier League title?
I wish I was still playing now here. That's I think that's everyone's dream to be 24, to be in your prime and to be playing in this Man City team. So yeah, I think that goes for everyone.
Of course. Zolt has asked you, Andy, as a Belgian fan ever since Vinny joined, excellent, very welcome, Zolt, do you think that we're underestimating Club Brugge a little bit? Obviously, City are favourites on paper, but with a draw against PSG and a win against RB Leipzig, they showed good quality. Could they surprise us today?
We'll certainly not be underestimating them in any way. The due diligence, the manager, his staff and everything, every detail that's needed on Club Brugge and their qualities, and the detail will be huge over the last couple of days in going into this game. So they'll certainly not be complacent. Should we beat them? I think we should. The pitch will be magnificent. We'll dominate possession. We'll create opportunities. It'll be as simple as football can be. If we take our chances, then we'll win the game. But no, there's no way the club will be taking them, be complacent in any way. The PSG result showed that, and they created really good opportunities in that game.
As a team, I think we always take our opponents seriously, which
Absolutely.
is why we're so successful in all competitions.
Yeah.
So, a couple of questions about Jack Grealish. So, Shaifa from India, very welcome. My question is, Grealish is a world-class footballer for City's lineup. Will we be seeing more of his goal-scoring abilities?
Yeah, I think there's still a settling-in period for Grealish. He's come in with huge expectations. He's been in and out with the English national team as well, so that breaks up the sort of familiarity with everyone. And over the course of the season, the course of the length of his contract, you'll see plenty of goals and plenty of magic moments from him.
Andy LP has asked, what are your thoughts on when Grealish plays false nine?
I prefer him playing off the left. I think that's where his strongest position is. I think he's the most productive there. He attracts the opposition, slows the play down to a point which creates opportunities elsewhere on the pitch. But like tonight, who knows which way it'll go. It was changed at half-time at the weekend, so it might start in a certain way. But and the goals will come. The goals will come because there's one thing that he doesn't lack, it's self-belief. He has an aura about him that I think all top players do. And, he wants to play in every game. And as time goes on and get past that bedding in period, I expect to see 15 to 20 goals a season from him. I think he's that good.
And Joseph Todd's asked a question that I'd like an answer from both of you because I like it. Who's the most funny teammate you played with?
Kevin Orlock.
Of course. Of course. Again, I could have answered that one. Richard?
Yeah, probably Kevin. Kevin and Ben Thatcher were a funny...
Was Ben Thatcher funny?
Very, very funny.
I never knew that because I just see him as like a serious, angry man.
No, he was on the pitch and in training he was, but off the field he was hilarious. He's a crazy fella.
Yeah, Kevin Horlock's one of the funniest guests we've had around. I don't mean that. No offence to either of you. I couldn't concentrate on the game because of the jokes he was telling. And then the last one for now, Amy has asked for both of you, who is your favourite City icon?
From this?
From any, whenever you want.
It's difficult. I look at Man City and I look at how they've sort of become the team that they are now. And over that period of time, when you look at what represents Man City best, I would say is probably David Silva. I think the style of football that he played has now helped develop what this team has become. And I think if you're looking for someone who could represent the club as a whole, I would go for him probably.
Great show. Andy?
I think, obviously not playing with players and, and knowing what they're like away from the football, yes, on the football pitch, but I was fortunate enough to spend time with Colin Bell, doing the pre-matches and going to the restaurants and that, and just the aura he had. And, to see rooms actually go quiet when we walked in and, people from all generations, that's Colin Bell. It's Colin Bell. And and he carried himself and he was so humble as well. You've got a part of a stadium named after you and your history. And, and it was. And I always smiled because you'd always hang around and I would hang around when Colin left and how good was he to the senior one? And then their face would light up and the excitement trying to talk about how good he was. And, there's some clips on YouTube but the pictures and all that. So unless you were actually there to see how good he was and again, and fondly remembered.
Oh, absolutely. Brilliant answers. Brilliant question, Amy. Thank you so much. Thank you for sending all of your WhatsApp questions in there. Do keep them coming in. You guys ask better questions than me, so I need your help. Keep sending those in. Now, you all know by now how wonderful City Plus is. The documentaries that the team make are absolutely phenomenal. You'll get them covering everybody from Kevin De Bruyne to Sergio Aguero to Sean Wright-Phillips to York Away. That we do some really, really incredible documentaries. Of course, you can get all the highlights from all the games as well. So from midnight tonight, you can get the full game on City Plus as well. Now, another documentary that's about to come out soon, I'm very, very excited about. For 1 year, we had the privilege of being managed by Sven-Göran Eriksson, and very soon you'll be able to hear his story on City Plus.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Very well, how are you?
I remember when I signed for City at the stadium. Outside, when I go to my car, it was a big support of Manchester City. And he said to me, just do two things, beat United twice. And we did it.
Manchester City win at Old Trafford.
This is a manager that's going to take us everywhere. We're fantastic.
That will preserve the perfect start.
I just loved him. I loved him from the off.
And City have turned it around.
There was a feel-good factor there, and I think that was because of just him, his personality and his style.
Oh, yes!
Such a special goal.
By Michael Johnson. Oh, what a hedge!
The Brazilians have a certain way of doing things. That was a great time, even if it was short.
It's 8 for Middlesbrough.
Because of the personality Sven was, everybody wanted him to succeed.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, it was a long time ago, but I remember it like yesterday. You'll be able to get that documentary very soon on City Plus, alongside all those other really incredible documentaries that we make for you. It feels like yesterday for me, Richard. Does it feel like yesterday for you? Because you, of course, played that full season under Sven.
Yeah, it was brilliant with him. You know, from the very first moment that he came in, a lot of managers come in and set the tone of what they want and what they expect from the players, and his whole talk was about respect. And how we need to have respect for one another, for him, for his staff, for all the staff around the club and everything like that. And it was a case of treat me how you want to be treated, almost. And I think within 24 hours he'd taken us to Sweden for a pre-season tour. Told us nobody go out, nobody do that. And then a couple of hours later gave us checkbooks of tokens or whatever and said, right, lads, go and enjoy yourselves and go and have fun, but be back by 12. And then I think we came back at maybe 12:05 or so, or whatever, a little bit later, and himself and Todd Grip were playing the accordion in the hallway in the hotel, and it was just like everyone can just relax now because he's nice. He wants us to work hard. He wants us to be respectful of our profession and all that stuff. But there's time to let your hair down and to go. And it was a huge disappointment when we found out he was leaving, because to me he was sort of the first manager of this era where the club was really on the up, and I thought he could have been hugely successful had he been given obviously more time and the finances that are available now.
Yeah, I remember as a fan as well, we were also upset when the rumours started sort of coming through that he was going to be leaving. I was at that last game of the season up in Middlesbrough, the coldest place in the world, where that stadium is already feeling like I was going to get blown over the edge. Of course, we lost that game, Sven's last game in charge, 8-1. You were playing that day, Richard, but we should say in your defence, you were sent off when it was 0-0. So the 8 goals were nothing to do with you.
Well, I gave away a penalty. I think that was the first one. But it was one of those games, and they spoke to us beforehand in the dressing room and said, look, we're going to qualify for Europe as long as nobody gets booked. So take it easy. And then within 6 minutes I went and got sent off, but we still managed to get through. But it was a disappointing end to a good season, and like I say, the opportunity was there for them to move the club forward again, but obviously it went in a different direction.
We had the pleasure of having Nadem on a few weeks ago, and we were talking about Sven. It was just after the UNICEF game here where Sven had been managing. Nadem told a lovely story. I'd love to hear it from your point of view about the players knew that Sven was going to be leaving at the end of that game, and you as the captain stood up at after full time and said a lovely sort of goodbye speech to Sven. I
think there's certain people that come into a dressing room and the way that they treat people around the club, it leaves a feeling with everybody. Everyone has that respect, and obviously that sort of sorrow almost when they're leaving, you know. So you start to feel, and you need to show your respect for someone, because sometimes it's easy to be a player and just come in, do your job, go home. And I think when someone comes in and makes such a huge effect as what he had on the club and on the dressing room, it was important that, although his time wasn't going to be extended by the club, it was still important for him to know that the players respected what he'd done for us, and that the season that we spent with him was probably one of the most enjoyable seasons for all of us. So I think as a group, as a captain or wherever, it's someone's job to make sure that he knows that.
Absolutely. Oh, I can't wait to watch that documentary. Hearing you talk about him as well, it brings back all those lovely memories. Andy, you didn't play under Sven, but hearing how lovely Richard speaks about Nadum and every other player that ever speaks about Sven, did you have a manager in your career that you felt that way about?
I think in my younger days, there was the respect, and the admiration for the manager. I think once that's there, you'll go through brick walls for the manager. And, he was obviously an exceptional manager. And every time player that played under Sven speaks about him, they always smile, first of all. And I was asking Richard, there's always this initial smile, and he must have brought such warmth to the changing room. And, when you get the best out of your players in many, many ways, the carrot and the stick. And he's certainly, I think, got players on side. And it's Richard's fortunate enough to have worked with him, and you take little bits from all the managers you played with, and then you go in yourself. You be yourself, but you'll always remember what worked and how you felt and why you went the extra length, and can you implement that when you're managing?
Not that we want to embarrass you in any way, Richard, but we do have that red card that we can have a little look at now. So you heard it there. Nobody get booked. Nobody get booked. I think it's harsh. I think it's harsh.
Richard. It's accidental.
It was accidental. We just that was a bad ref, though. I can't remember his name, but he was hopeless.
I recognise him too.
Yeah.
Phil Dowd?
Yeah, probably. He was one of those that liked the headlines or whatever.
Hold on, let's have a look again. Oh, come on!
Yeah. I thought it was harsh at the time, but I certainly didn't expect what happened after to have happened. And
can they look at it again?
Yes.
Can they put it on again? Because I just want to ask.
Anything for you, Andy.
From that situation there, Dunne, the right back should have been round.
Should have been in, yeah.
You shouldn't have had to turn there on that ball. So your right back should have been tucked round and blocked him off. Just a little tactical analysis there on that. Yeah. First time I've seen it in a long time.
Right, we're going to have another look again. Right, say that again, Andy.
There now, the right back should have been tucked round. You can see it better from the other angle when we go round.
Who was that, Richard? Do you know who it was?
Sunji High, is it?
Yeah. Is it Sunji High? Right, I cannot believe you've got sent off for that, and a penalty.
And a penalty.
It doesn't happen these days. Right, we're going to have a little look now from the other angle and see Andy's tactical analysis.
Not that one. As we see it right at the end there now. That's unfortunate, though.
Yeah, it's just
this here now. Once Dunne goes back, that wide, the fullback should be tucked in. And
there's the centre forward there that I was marking, Alves, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he scored 4 that day.
Oh, did he? Or maybe it was your fault.
But I was gone. He hadn't scored 4 by then.
Yeah.
He was. But yeah, the guy came in from the left wing, and it was.
Yeah, he pulled off you, and he should be pulling onto the fullback there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm helping you out here.
Thanks very much. Yeah. Hope Sunji High is watching.
Love to get Sunji High on here one day, and if we ever do, we'll ask him. Should you have pulled in there, Sunji High? Because Andy Morrison says, but that was never a sending off, Richard.
No.
Was never.
None of them more.
That was never a sending off. If you're just joining us, a big welcome to Matchday Live. We are under 15 minutes away from our Champions League game today against Club Brugge. The big headlines for you is there is 4 changes in the team that started and won against Burnley this weekend, with Ederson coming back into the keeper position. Kyle Walker is back, which means we presuming that Cancelo is moving over. Nathan Ake drops to the bench as well. So you've got Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, and then you have João Cancelo and Aymeric Laporte there in defence. Moving up into midfield, you have Rodri, Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, and Phil Foden. And of course, how can I forget him? There he is, Kevin De Bruyne. So that is your team news for the game. As I say, under 15 minutes to go before the kick-off now. Oh, I love seeing them. I love seeing them warm up. Look happy and content, and I also love that Absolutely love that training kit as well. Excellent work, Puma. Right, we're going to have a little refresh now, or if you're just joining us, the first time you might be seeing Cryptic City today. So it's nice and easy. Come on, look at the pictures, say what you see. It's the name of a City player, current or past. Right, let's have a look. Tweet us in, #ManCity. So I'm saying it's got to be a J. J-Z, J-Stu, J-Rod, J-Rod, and then that is some sort of muscle man, and an inn, a bed and breakfast or an inn. Muscle inn? Muscle inn? Have we got any players that sound like muscle inn? J-Rod Muscle inn. That is the player.
Too complicated for me.
Richard, I've got absolutely no clue.
I haven't a clue. I can't. It's J-Rod, yeah.
Rod. J-Rod.
Rod Stewart, Saline, Baby Jane. I'm gone. I haven't got a clue.
And then you think of a player and you start trying to make it fit in. I'm like, well, Zoos. Like, how can I get Rod Stewart to be Zoo?
Yeah. It's that in bit at the end, I think, which will give it away if you can think back. But
Tweet in your guesses, because we have nothing, absolutely nothing to give in the studio. It's #ManCity. And of course, you can keep using that WhatsApp number to send in your questions for the gents, and I will be asking them more at half time and full time. So we've got now about 10 minutes before the kick-off for tonight's game. So just some final thoughts from you, please, Andy. What are you expecting from tonight's game?
A win. I think it's clear. You know, there's a win needed, and I think the intention will be to go and, start the game fast, get at them, ideally get that early goal. But, I think everyone is aware of the importance of the game. And, if we leave there with a clean sheet, I'd be happy, because I believe we'll win the game. But it's still, it's positively in our hands as long as we don't lose the game.
Yeah, if we have a clean sheet, I'd be ecstatic. Knowing how many goals they've scored this season, I think that'd be phenomenal. Richard, what are you expecting from the game? Yeah,
very, very similar. I think we've seen the lineup and how attacking it is, and how obviously dangerous it will be for Bruges to play against. And the key for Man City will be out of possession, to make sure that they are organised, that they're not susceptible to counter-attacks or whatever it may be. I think if they get that right, then they've got more than enough to go and score goals and win the game.
We've just been talking so much about City and other things that we've actually not had too much of an opportunity to talk about Club Brugge. Have you watched much of them? Have you seen them at all this season, or any of the players?
Players-wise, I've seen them. I was working on the couple of Belgian games a couple of weeks ago, and Van Aken, who plays as a sort of sometimes off the left or as a number 10, it was a player this season who started to score goals and found his way back into Martinez's Belgian side. So through his Champions League performances, he started to come to the forefront, and people have taken notice of him. And again, the centre forward, De Ketelaere, scored his first goal for Belgium against Italy recently, and someone who could run in behind, which is always a threat for any centre half. So when you look at them and you see that they have got that sort of quality, international quality, you know they're going to be a decent side. So it's there was a question there whether you underestimate them. When you look at the team that City have put out, there's no way they've underestimated them. They will know inside and out what I've just said a little bit on. They will know 10 times the detail of that. They'll know where all the threats will come from. They've got a Scottish centre-half, which is probably unusual, and Simon Mignolet in goals, a keeper that we all know. So it's a decent side, and they've done well. They've got some points in the Champions League, and it'll be a tough match.
Yeah, Hendry in defence there is Scottish. No relation to Colin Hendry, if anybody was instantly thinking about that. Andy, while we've got a couple of minutes. I'd like to ask you about managing in the Champions League. Yeah. Obviously, you've just recently left Connah's Quay. You took them to the qualifying round in the Champions League. How many years in a row, do I want to say?
The Champions League was the last 2 seasons we won the league, and then before that was four seasons in the Europa League. So, yeah, great experience. And also an acknowledgement of the gulf, from actually managing in the Welsh League. And we played the Armenian champions this year, and we were 5 minutes away from penalties against them. They're in the group stage now, But speaking with the club after the game, and even at that level, their finance has been sort of 5 times what ours were. And then the manager telling me that they're playing Sheriff Tiraspol in the next round, who now were in the. That's who we would have played in the next round.
Didn't they beat?
Yeah, just beat Real Madrid.
Yes.
So the levels are incredible. And he was moaning to me, I've got no chance because they're 5 times what my budget is. So and it's a fantastic experience, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And the most important thing was we never embarrassed ourselves. When we, like I say, the season before we played FK Sarajevo, and it was an individual mistake that cost us that game. And this year again, against the Armenians, we did really, really well. A great experience, and something I treasured when I was there, because ultimately, if you're the champions of your league, then you're representing Wales, and we always did them very proud.
I can't imagine any team that you manage would ever go out there without putting a fight and going for it. And the Champions League is so special. We know it is. We know how the Champions League is so special. And imagine then for Connors, Keith, for the fans, it must have just been an incredible experience to be in it at any point, at any level, for any period of time.
Yeah, the magic, and of course of walking out as a manager and the Champions League music being played. It was great, and again, it's although it's tough and you are right at the bottom of the pecking order, there's still that acknowledgement that the reason you're there is because you're the champions of your league, and we did, as you've just said, we certainly won't be getting any Christmas cards from any of the clubs we went to. We left an impression everywhere we went, and teams still talk about us and the character and the spirit that we had, because we punched way above our weight whenever we played, and there were great memories and great times.
Maybe no Christmas cards from the other teams, but plenty from your own fans and your own players and your own club, I imagine. Well, thank you very much both for joining me for this pre-match. We will, of course, be back at half-time to give you some instant analysis of hopefully some City goals and a great first half of football. If you're currently watching us on the Manchester City app, lovely, stay put. You're in the right place. If you're watching us across any of our other social channels, now is the time. Get across to the Manchester City app, where you'll get full commentary of this game from the outstanding Alistair Mann. And in the last game, David James told me that Alistair Mann's commentary enhanced his enjoyment of the game. So you have to get across to the Manchester City app for your commentary. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you, Richard. We'll be back at half-time. Enjoy the game, please.